This video is brought to you by Asub12 Productions. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to enjoy the videos. Also, please try and comment and rate the videos. Thank you. Hey guys, Asub here, just doing my second C++ video, and just so everyone knows, I am currently, what's it called? Rendering, that's the word. Rendering the first video. It's on 74%, so that will soon be up. Anyways, we might as well just jump straight into it. So I've already got my compiler open. Just a couple of things I want to go over from the previous video is, first of all, even if you have the using namespace std statement there, you can still prefix all things from the std namespace as usual. So here, this will still compile fine, despite the fact we have this using namespace std statement. We can still prefix everything from std namespace with the std prefix, and also these two colons are called the scope resolution operator, and it allows us to prefix things from different namespaces. And in this case, we're prefixing cout from the std namespace with the scope resolution operator. So sorry, I just had to go over that. And also, if we don't want to use the entire std namespace, we can, in fact, I'm just going to copy this because I don't want to lose this code, this first line, so I'll just copy the whole line, and put before, and I'll delete that because I'm going to redefine that. So here, in this statement, we can put using std count or cout, and then if, let's just say I cut this out, so that's gone. Now this will not compile at the moment because we've got endl and cin here, but all we have to do now is copy and paste this twice, and then say endl and cin, and now stops us having to put the std prefix before cout. Copy and paste that before endl, oops, and finally before cin. Okay, and now this will work fine because we've said we're using std count, we're using std endl, and we're using std cin. But if cin, sorry. But if we try and use anything else from std without prefixing it with the std prefix, this will not compile because we haven't said we're using the std namespace. Whoops! Oh, I got rid of that by accident. Anyway, we haven't said we're using the std namespace. We've just said we're using these three elements from the std namespace. And now I'll put that thing back in. Stops us having to put the std prefix before everything in the std namespace. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to move on to our next tutorial, and we're just going to add a new item again to our source files. Again, another cpp file, and I'm going to call this n2 for number 2. Video tutorial number 2. Just save and close. Okay, now let's first write all the usual stuff we need. So first include iostream, and then let's write the int main function header. And I'm not going to be using namespace for this series. I'm not going to be using the std namespace for this series, sorry, because if I do, there may be things like when we move on to string isn't just a type of variable you can declare, you have to include it, and it comes from the std namespace, and say I was using the std namespace when I declare a string, like string name, and using namespace std, of course I'd have an include string preprocessor here. If you then went off and decided not to use the std namespace and tried to compile with this, it would bring up a compiler error. I'm not sure how specific it is, but it will bring one up and it will be saying, hey, wait a minute, you can't do that, and you'd be wondering why. And it's actually because string is you have to prefix it with the std namespace if you're not using std namespace. So that's just why I'm going to be using the namespace I'm not going to be using namespace std for this entire series. Despite that, you can do it yourself. It's perfectly plausible. A lot of people do it. Yeah. So anyway, let's move on now. One thing we're going over math functions in this tutorial, and one thing I want to be clear on is, you remember from our previous tutorial, I'll just put return naught down here. From our previous tutorial we had this std endl, and then std sin.get. Okay, now this isn't strict. You don't have to have your cout statements like this all the time. It doesn't have to be like one string literal after the this first output operator, and then you have to end the line, or you use the /n. You can have as many string literals as you want, so I could then put again, and then say and again, and you can even do math operations inside here, which we're going to get onto in a second, and you can also give variable names, and then you can output those using this output operator. So this single line, it's very flexible. You don't have to stick to one thing. And also as well, I could have endls in between here like this. Okay, so it's all very flexible. It's not like strict. You have to have one string literal and then you've got to do another statement the line below. Okay, so that's just one thing I want to talk about first. And oops. Okay, now let's get on to the actual math functions. So as I said, you could do math functions inside of this cout statement. So for instance, first we can have 7 plus 5. Excuse me. And if we build this solution, I'll show you this here. Of course, when you build it, I think it oh, whoops. I think I know why this is screwing up. It's probably because we have to create a new project, because this one project has only one exe file. So let's go ahead and make a new project. Yep. Tutorial 2. Okay. Sorry about that. I guess you'll have to make a new project too, or just delete the code from the first tutorial. I want to keep it because of course I want to put it up on my website. So yes, save changes. Okay, and let's go ahead and add new source file again. n2.cpp. Okay, copy and paste the code in there. Now that's over, let's build the solution. Okay, and as I thought, whoops, crazy mouse, one succeeded there. And if we start debugging, no, you can also press that little play button there. Anyways, 12 plus 5 outputs 12. Sorry, 7 plus 5 outputs 12. And let's start mixing and matching. We're now going to put 7 minus 5, and then oops.